When it comes to memories, for most people, getting married and walking down the aisle are usually among the very best ones. Well, on today's case, Mrs. Reid says that when she looks back on her wedding day, she's filled with nothing but regrets. She says Mr. Reid is not the man she thought he was when they tied the knot, but is instead a cheap cheater with a silver tongue. Now she's convinced her marriage is nothing but a sham, and she's here in my courtroom to end it today. Let's hear their case.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, here's the case of Reid versus Reid.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Reid and Mr. Reid. Mrs. Reid, you say you will no longer be controlled and manipulated by your husband, and you're ready to end this marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Reid, you say you cannot imagine life without your wife. You are here to try to save your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you've been married for 2 years, although together for 6 years, and you have 2 little ones at home, but also raising your child from a previous relationship.
Yes.
So this is a family. It must be pretty serious to bring you to court, Mrs. Reid. Why are we here?
Your Honor, I'm here because Amir, he showed himself to be, the picture-perfect guy. And, all he did was let me down. Amir is very financially manipulative, controlling, and he's a cheater. I just want a divorce. I want to work out a co-parenting situation.
Wow, that's a whole lot, Mr. Reid. Do you hear what your wife said? What do you say, sir?
I'm here to save my marriage. I love her. She has a lot of value, a lot of passion, and she's very supportive to me. And I just want her to trust me.
So let's see if there's something left there, because Mrs. Reid seems hurt. I'd like to know how we got here. Can you take me back to when you met and what has led us to this point, Mrs. Reid?
We met at the supermarket. And so he was staring at me, and I was kind of like, who is this guy looking at me like this? We started talking and we started cracking some jokes. And so, we exchanged numbers and everything. And so we proceeded to leave the supermarket. I was driving home, and then he was following me. And so I thought he was a stalker.
A little creepy.
Yep. And so I stopped the car, and I got out, and I'm like, why are you following me? And he was like, I live here too. I live in the same complex. And I was like, oh, okay. That's a coincidence. And so we started dating. Mm-hmm.
Were you involved in a relationship at the time you met Mr. Reid?
No, I wasn't. I was coming out of a previous marriage that didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had a little one.
Yeah, yep. I had a 2-year-old when we met.
I go to you, Mr. Reid. Did you have expectation that it would turn into something long term?
I did not. At first, honestly, I thought it was just another kind of like a quick relationship, something that was just gonna hear by day,
like
by
a
night
dating
kind of thing. Yeah. But after time spending with her and working with her, I've seen that she had a lot of smarts, she's very she's
She impressed you.
Yeah, she's very creative too.
So clearly you all had a bunch of stuff in common, and I understand Mr. Reid was very good with your son. Am I correct?
Yeah. That's true, Your Honor. He is very good with my son, and that's one of the things I loved about him.
How did it go from sort of a fairy tale fantasy to I now don't trust him? What's going on?
Well, things took a turn for the worse. And Amir, he changed.
Can you pinpoint the time?
Absolutely, yeah. So I had met these young ladies at an event we went to, and they were really nice. We got along, and I had planned for us to go skating. And skating for me it gives me time to be myself. I love the music. I can vibe with it. And I told Amir, I said, I'm going to go skating with these girls, and we're going to have a good time at this time. Well, skating is at the same time every single Sunday. And so once it was time for me to leave, he blocked the door.
You mean physically blocked the door?
Yeah, he blocked the door. He wouldn't let me leave, and then we got into an argument. And he's just super controlling. He wants to know where I'm going, who I'm going with, why I'm going.
What was the problem with the skating ring, Mr. Reid?
As a woman, going out after 10 p.m. is unacceptable without someone to protect you. I want her to feel safe.
Am I your child, though? Like, I have a curfew?
It's not about that. It's about me wanting to be by your side. And
no, it's not about you. She wanted to go out with her girlfriends. Now, she was going to the skating rink, not to the strip club. What was the problem with her going to the skating rink?
She is a married woman. And I feel like
So married women can't go to skating rink.
I wanted to just be with you.
But Mr. Reid, she don't want you with her and the girlfriends at the skating rink. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know a man that want to be bothered with a bunch of women partying and hanging at the skating rink tee-heeing. Queens go up in the skating room with the other queens, or if she really flies, she the Barbie queen up in here, the rest of them skippers. She doing her, just looking pretty, okay? She vibing on the music for a couple hours. She getting back in the Uber or whatever car and coming on home to her husband and her kids.
That's a lot of people. I don't just tell you you can't go nowhere. I'll just make sure that when you do go to certain places, that if I feel like I need to be there.
Mr. Reid, you're making things up while you stand here. You physically blocked her from walking out of her own house to go to a couple hours of skating with girlfriends. So you do have a problem with her independence. That is something that actually occurred. So please don't stand in the courtroom and say, I don't have a problem with that. Don't say that's fine, because it's never been fine.
But just when it's late, that was 10 p.m.
You're never gonna make me believe that you don't go out at 10 o'clock at night. You're never gonna make me believe that you don't go out with your fellas and your boys and do your thing. See, just stand in the truth of who you are.
We have a family, Your Honor. I have to be responsible for her and our children.
No, excuse me.
In that one vehicle.
She has to be responsible for her. She's a whole human being. This is not your child. This is not your property. Women are not chattel. She may be the mother of your children, but by herself, standing there, she's a whole person. You have not recognized that one time. You have not recognized that she makes her own decisions about who she is, where she goes, who she affiliates with, what is going to happen in her life. That is what she does.
Yep.
Because she's a grown-ass woman. Period.
And I have no problems with any of that. I don't think women are chattel. I don't have any type of disrespect towards. I was raised by my mother. I don't have any disrespect towards any woman, anyone in
But
here.
you have an expectation of what kind of woman she's going to be.
You know what, Your Honor, speaking of him not having no disrespect, let's talk about when he did have some disrespect. So it was Mother's Day. So we go out, we have a good time, we eat it and everything. The waitress comes with the check. Well, he give me the check. And
It's Mother's Day.
I know. And he tapping his pockets, talking about, I forgot my wallet at home.
That was one time.
You did that on purpose.
Why did you have short little dinosaur arms when it came time to pay the check? Why didn't you pay the check?
Typically I do, but at that time, I didn't have it.
Tell the truth.
I had to slide him the money under the table.
So you didn't look like Boo Boo the Fool?
Yeah.
But it was a waste of money. I could have cooked the meals. I don't have no problem with that.
Hold on a second. I don't want you or you saying one word. You just told the truth. I just heard you. It was a waste of money. I could have cooked her a meal. We could have done something else. That was not what she wanted. It was Mother's Day. She wanted to go out to a restaurant. You agreed to do that, but the way you decided to get her back was you didn't pay. Oh, I hear everything, Mr. Reid. I'm paying attention.
But I don't have any problems with cooking and giving her the
She didn't ask you to cook.
Why?
She didn't want you to cook. She wanted to go out.
But don't you want to be taken care of?
Not by you at all times, Mr. Reid.
Yeah, sometimes I want to do other things with you and our family. I don't want to always be at home.
That's fine.
He said he was gonna go to his family's house and take a shower, and then he was gonna come back. I decided to go over there. So I opened up the door, and what I could see through the crack was a lady sitting in the chair. We just found out we was pregnant, and you gonna do something dirty like this on my birthday?
I wanted her to try the products.
And you wanted to do all of this on your girlfriend's birthday while you inside with a potential client.
Not a good look.
I have a situation that kind of gets me a little emotional. So it was my birthday, and I had just found out I was pregnant with my daughter.
Wow.
That morning. And we were going to just celebrate in the house. Going to just, me and him, we was going to enjoy the day. It's my birthday, and we found out we was pregnant. Well, he said he was going to go to his family's house and take a shower, and then he was going to come back to my house. And, you know, he was taking a while. It was like 2 hours later. I'm like, what the heck? They up the street, you know? And so I decided to go over there. So I opened up the door with my spare key, and the chain was on the door. And so from what I could see through the crack was a lady sitting in the chair. And it's 10 o'clock at night. And so I'm telling Amir, I said, open up the door. He opened up the door. I'm trying to, ask the lady questions to find out why she's here. She remains silent, and then she leaves. So Amir just standing there looking silly. We just found out we was pregnant, and you gonna do something dirty like this on my birthday? This is my birthday.
She was
like
a customer.
You don't care about me that much. And then he's talking about, well, she was a customer for the business.
What do you mean she was a customer?
She was an influencer. She was a customer. She had herself established. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure, I wanted her to try the products. I wanted her to
And you
give a
wanted to do
testimony.
all of this on your girlfriend's birthday on the day that you find out that you're about to have a child.
It was a
That's when you
surprise.
thought that was going to be a good time at 10 o'clock at night.
With the chain on the door.
While you inside with a potential client.
Not a good look.
Your Honor, I wanted her to be surprised. I wanted her
She
to
didn't want to be surprised. She wanted her man back home after he took his shower from his homeboy's
But
house
she running-
to go out with her for her birthday and celebrate the impending birth of your child. That's
But
what
she was
she
running
wanted.
customers away.
But that's what she wanted, Mr. Reid. And not even for that 2 hours could you do that. That was not the time for you to be having this meeting, period.
I just felt so hurt. I was surprised. I didn't know he would do something like that. This was before any signs or anything that I may have saw overlooked, and I was just like hurt.
And I
nobody
apologized to
could
her.
tell me
I didn't-
anything.
I know that was a mistake. I just want her to trust. I've always still had her back regardless. I've always made sure that she could go out. In the beginning, I was controlling,
No, you still
But-
controlling, because I'm listening to it, Mr. Reid.
but I'm working on myself.
What is going on with these direct messages?
Women are the best marketers, and then because of the work that we do together, I have to give the side eye because her finding out that I cheated on her, not with business, but other times.
How many times? If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content.
I went to one of my friend's yoga classes, and it was this girl there, and she recognized me. She was like, weren't you selling products at the festival last year? And I was like, yeah, I was there. She was like, the dude that was with you, she was like, that wasn't your dude, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, because he slid in my DMs. And she sent me evidence. I have the evidence.
Did you submit the evidence to court?
Yep, I did.
Oh, Lord. Okay, how can I support? Looks like they met their goal. Oh, well, great. Can we text? No, I don't want to. His response is fair.
Why are you asking to text her in the first place?
Because she's a model.
Okay, but
And I was potentially, honestly, to make sure that she could also brand our products. 'Cause
You know, but
she's
the
a
young
fashion
lady's
model.
response to you clearly was one of, I don't think so.
Yes, I don't want to. And I said fair. There, it's right there. I didn't have
Here's
any
my
other-
question. What else were you asking her?
Nothing. That's all that's there.
that shouldn't have even been about. I should have been able to go and have a nice time and do yoga and come home feeling relaxed.
You really do
it's
think
just a
that
word of mouth
he
thing.
has been untrustworthy in terms of relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Ms. Reid, do you think that there was actual cheating? I mean, honestly, do you believe
Oh
it?
yeah. It was a situation where he confessed.
What do you mean he confessed?
He wanted to explain about the DMs that I saw. Because once I saw the girl at the yoga, I kind of got curious. And
So now you're going to start looking, Inspector Gadget now,
I
okay?
started looking. I went through his phone and I saw a bunch of DMs, and one of them was from his ex. And him and his ex is reminiscing about the past and how all the fun that they had, and asking him
But I
if he a
seen the
girl
same
dad.
thing in her phones. She was hurt, and she would send out other messages to her exes too. She also connected with them.
What is going on with these direct messages? Let's talk for real now.
Well, I mean, honestly, women are the best marketers when it comes to holistic products. Or
I
when it
agree
comes
with
to
you
any
on that,
product,
and I do understand business development. I get that, sir.
And then because of the work that we do together, that I have to give the side eye because how I have treated her in the past and her finding out that I cheated on her, but I didn't want that to be the part of it, but I have confessed to her that I have cheated on her not with business, but other times.
How many times?
About 8 people.
Wow.
8 people, not 8 DMs.
But I wanted her to know that like that was horrible. That was,
You think?
yeah, it was.
I now finally get why you're so controlling.
But I
It's
do
because
wanna-
you know that you've been a dog. You know that you've been out here being inconsiderate, disrespectful, untrustworthy, unfaithful. You know that that's who you are and that's who you've been. And so you are placing the burdens of your lack of character on her shoulders. Now I finally figured it out.
But it's not who I am.
No, yes, it is.
I have had that character, but that's not who I am today. The reason that I'm here is to save our marriage. I wanted her to know that I want her to trust me, and I have been trustworthy.
When's the last time you've been in those situations with miscellaneous women?
I don't know, like a year ago.
Those text messages that I had pictures of was from last month.
That's one girl, but we talking about at least 8 that we know of.
That was years ago. That was before
from what
we were
he
married,
told me,
though.
once we got married, he hadn't cheated on me with anybody since then.
Other than this one situation here, is that what you're telling me?
Physically, is what I'm saying.
Ms. Reid, you got divorce papers with you. First of all, let me see if they're even in order. May I have them, Robert, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Ms. Reid, you came to court today with divorce papers in hand. My only question at this point is whether or not you have made a determination whether his controlling and manipulative behavior is something that you want in your life.
You know what, Your Honor? I don't want that in my life. 8 is more than enough for me, you know, and he was talking about building trust, and it's like, how can I build trust back to something that was so devastating to me? And I want a divorce, Your Honor. I don't.
Mr. Reid,
do it.
is there anything that you can say to your wife to fight for your marriage? Because what I'm hearing right now is manipulative and controlling, and it does not sound like a man who wants to rebuild trust. What can you do to tell Mrs. Reid that you can rebuild her trust?
Yes. I want to make sure that you know that I have changed. You're the light of my life. I've definitely made a lot of mistakes with you, with us, but our kids love me, and you have so much love and passion for us, and then there's no strings attached, Your Honor. She really gave me full respect, full love right out.
In other words, she came to this relationship and marriage as her whole self.
And
you brought a lack of character. So you've got to stand in that.
That's very true.
You did. She gave you everything you asked for.
And it just turned out he's not my picture perfect husband.
No.
You know.
Well, honestly, Mrs. Reid, very rarely are things picture perfect. Mrs. Reid, I have divorce papers in my hand. Would you like them served?
I would like them served.
Robert, please. Please serve the defendant.
Mr. Reid, you've been served.
Mrs. Reid, your husband has been served with your intent to divorce him. Here's my thing. I would not stay in a marriage where I have to tamp down who I am, where I'd have to give up my spirit, where I'd have to give up my soul. That is not the example. Your husband articulated the example that he lived with. This is not how a man is supposed to react, because you don't want your son to think that this is how a man acts. And guess what you don't want your daughter to do? Think that this is all she can accept. Under no circumstances. Mr. Reid, sometimes I get disappointed, but I get more disappointed when somebody is hypocritical and really and truly says they want to fight for their marriage, but the only thing they bring into the table is more demands that the other person change. You got a lot of work to do on yourself, sir. How you gonna be a manipulative, controlling, narcissist, unfaithful dude and come in here demanding stuff?
Never seen an individual say, I don't have a problem with that, but had a problem with everything she did.
You wanna know why? Because he knew he was doing dog stuff every single day. Ooh, that child need to run.
made in Georgia.